Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. I'm going to do this best ball draft on Draftkings today. Absolutely no idea how it's going to go. It's a $3 tournament. There is $50K to first, a $300,000 best ball tournament. Let's kick it off and see how it goes. We got the 5 pick. What do you think I'm going to take?
He's a legend.
All right, we got the 5 pick in this draft. I've got my rankings not uploaded, but like they're in. So like this is not by ADP. This is my personal draft list of where I've got players. Mostly it's based on the rankings over at ETR. I've made some tweaks by myself. If you want to look down below in the description, or if you're watching live on Twitch, you can just type !ETR in the chat. Takes you over there. They have a great draft product, and you can take their picks and put it in there so that maybe you're a little bit more aware of who's available when they're available. Alvin Kamara goes 2. Very interesting. So this is a full PPR draft, which is different from the ones over that we've done on Underdog that are 0.5 PPR. And obviously DraftKings scoring, you've got bonuses, you've got full PPR. So I draft a little bit differently when I do a best ball draft on DraftKings, and it's a little bit deeper than it is over on Underdog. So you have to draft for the system that you're in. I think I'm going to go with a bell cow and chill sort of method here. A lot of the time I will take Kelsey at this spot. I don't think I have enough Ezekiel Elliott shares right now. And I kind of like Ezekiel Elliott. So we're going to go with him. The earlier I draft, and right now it is late July, the 21st of July as I'm doing this draft, I tend not to lean on running backs early. A lot. Like I don't go with robust running back. There's a lot more reason and rationale, let's say, for you to do a draft early. A lot of people say, why are you doing a draft in July? Because this is what I do. When you do a draft early, to take a more anti-fragile approach, draft a lot of wide receivers, tight ends, even spend on a running quarterback in those rounds 5 through 8, wherever, and stay away from putting a lot of weight onto your or draft equity into running backs, because injuries are very much a thing, and running back is the one position that gets injured more often than other positions. It's more fragile. So I'm more likely to take a hyper fragile approach, meaning draft running backs early, multiple running backs early as I get closer to the season. And if I put this on pick history, you'll actually see who gets picked. And then earlier drafts, I'll tend to lean more heavily on wide receivers in the first 5 or 6 rounds. And like I said, that bell cow and chill mode, some people call it hero running back, some people call it modified 0 RB, whatever. Bell cow and chill. I'll take, if I get a top half of the first round pick, I'll take one of those super stud 300 touch, 15 plus inside the 5 carry running backs. And then I'll circle in with a bunch of wide receivers around them. And I'm also going to be coming out with a video of some of my favorite later round running back targets, guys that are 5th round and later, 5th through 12th round ADP running backs that I like to target to fill out the 5 or 6 running backs that I tend to draft in most of these best ball drafts, especially on DraftKings. Again, DraftKings a 20 round draft. So my basic roster construction is 2, 5, 8, 2. You add that up, you'll see where that ends us. And that leaves us 3 more picks that I can spend to shore up what we've got left. Or, if I went 0 running back, I'll probably go with 6 wide receivers. So I did not spend draft capital on a tight end. I'll probably take another tight end to kind of give me that extra little lottery ticket at those positions that if it comes through, great. Last year, our lottery ticket in those 18th through 20th rounds was Logan Thomas, and he paid off way more than the draft capital that we spent on him. So pretty standard draft right now. And on DraftKings, if you guys have drafted on DraftKings, you know for sure that it's not always a very standard style of draft when you draft on DraftKings. People can get off the reservation on DraftKings. They have a really large player pool. Some people are not very steeped in this, and you see some crazy things. We did a draft last week. I think Kyler went in the first round, which is like 50 picks ahead of his ADP. And the closer we get to the season, the more people are going to be drafting. DK Metcalf going there at 18. Antonio Gibson is extremely interesting. I think that he is super, super solid. If I wanted to go with a second running back here, I'd probably go with him. Keenan Allen, maybe the Chargers change their offense a bit, but he's still going to be 125, 140 plus target guy, and low ADOT targets, so they convert very easily into catches. But for me, the guy that I'm going to go with here is going to be Darren Waller, because, and yes, the rankings, I have Kittle over Waller, but I've been drafting Waller over Kittle. Disregarding the strength of schedule, the 49ers have a much better schedule than do the Raiders, but Waller is going to get 100 plus targets, and there's a very real possibility that 49ers play from ahead a lot. When they go to their rookie quarterback, Kittle is a better on-field tight end, let me just say, than Darren Waller is. Darren Waller for fantasy, though, especially in full PPR, and with the way that I think the 49ers play from ahead a lot this season, I think that he's going to get less targets. And less targets in full PPR is never great. Not really what you're trying to look for. So that's where I'm going. Start with Elliott and Waller. Elliott always going to be among the league leaders in terms of inside the 5 carries. You know that Dallas projects once again to be an absolutely monstrous offense. So I have the lead running back there. I know that Draft Twitter absolutely loves Tony Pollard. And Tony Pollard, for me, has been a late round running back target, because when I'm targeting later round running backs, I want guys that have a role already. Let's call them 40% guys. They're going to get 40% of the running back snaps, 35 to 40% of the running back snaps already on their team, but they're coming at 7, 8, 10 rounds less in terms of ADP cost versus the starter. And with the injury possibilities at running back, that already gives you somebody in a 0 running back build that has a job, but they're one play away from being the guy, kind of as we saw with Cam Akers going down, and now Darrell Henderson, who was going around pick 120 to 130, no matter where you were drafting. Now he should probably fall in the 4th or 5th rounds of most drafts. So basically, you've got basically whoever you want. Okay, players available for me. Well, AJ Brown, Amari Cooper, Robinson, Swift, Moore, McLaurin. I gotta go with AJ Brown here. I'm taking AJ Brown. I love AJ Brown in this spot. For me, because easily stackable with this quarterback who goes around the 8th or 9th rounds in drafts. McLaurin, though, you can very easily stack this Washington football team roster. And it's something that I certainly do target doing a lot, because you've got, they're spaced out in terms of ADP. You have McLaurin in the 3rd round. Sometimes he falls to the 4th. You've got Curtis Samuel, I think, goes around the 7th, 8th round of drafts. Logan Thomas, 9th, 10th round of drafts, and Fitzmagic is going in like the 13th or 14th round. So a very easy team to stack, double stack, triple stack, however you want to go after it, or super stack, which I don't usually super stack, meaning 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a running back, and a quarterback. I don't want to put all of my eggs in that one basket. I want some eggs in a basket. Parking Martian, thank you for the 10 months. Dan Jones, thank you for the 44 months. Can we get some VIP spam in the chat for the 44-month resub? Is there more upside taking 2 stud wide receivers in the 1st round because you can get 2 stacks in best ball? I mean, most of those guys are attached to stud quarterbacks too. So like, are you going to spend that much draft capital? Right? Are you going to spend that much draft capital on 2 separate quarterbacks? Like I'm always thinking about how can I stack, but I'm not going to overdo it. Now there's Kyle Pitts, who's Kyler Murray going with the 1st pick in the 4th. Kyle Pitts going with the last pick in the 3rd. I can't with Kyle Pitts. I think he's amazing, but I think we're drafting him. Look who he's being drafted around. Go look at Allen Robinson's numbers from last year. He's being drafted 6 spots behind Terry McLaurin. Oh, we got a running quarterback run. A run on the running quarterbacks. Watch. Lamar's going to be next. Cooper was decent and Pitts is such talent. Yeah. And even if he never puts his hand in dirt, if he never goes to a 3-point stance at tight end, it's hard to imagine him getting 140 targets. See you later, Mike. That's my issue. You're drafting him around a bunch of different players who should get more targets. And like I said, as good as Kyle Pitts is, who's going to get more targets this year? Here's the question for you guys, chat. Who's going to get more targets this year? Logan Thomas. Oof. Cam Akers. He's such a value. He's still available in the 4th round. I can't believe it. Who's going to get more targets this year? Logan Thomas or Kyle Pitts? Oof. Darrell Henderson going 35th. Or sorry, no, he's still available. He's not going 35th. Of course. That's just where I have him. Cooper Kupp going there. How do I not take the value? Or do I super stack Tennessee? I think I super stack Tennessee. I think we're Titans fans with this team. We're Titans fans. We're officially Titans fans, chat. Pitts for you? That would certainly be a thing, UNC, if that happens. I know some people are going to say Pitts is going to get more targets, and he very well might. He very well might. But yesterday I just posted a thing of all the rookie tight ends since like 1980. Every top rookie tight end season. It's on Twitter. It's under that Pitts poll. I put it with the Pitts poll just to add some alliteration. Jamar Chase going there. Robert Woods, Amari Cooper. Cooper was the other guy that I was considering because he fell so far. Josh Reynolds season? Well, it was until they traded for Julio. A lot of guys falling here. Mike Evans, DJ Moore. Solid turn there for Mr. Randall with Evans and Moore, both at 10 and 16 picks behind where I have them slotted. Yeah, but tight end's a new breed. Not all that much. Sucker for uber talented players with opportunity. Look, like I said, if he gets 110 targets, that would be an incredible season for any rookie pass catcher, let alone a rookie tight end. Am I all in on Jonathan Taylor this year? I mean, I'm in on Jonathan Taylor. I don't know that I'm all in on Jonathan Taylor. I think he's very good and has great opportunity. I think there are some questions as to where they're going to fit in Marlon Mack and if they're going to use him more on passing downs, and the change from Rivers, who threw a ton to his running backs, now to someone who does not throw a ton to his running backs. See, now I think grabbing one of these running backs in this spot is probably optimal. I still want to see where Henderson goes organically. I'm going to take Mike Davis here. Elliott, I think Davis gets a ton of volume. There's just nobody else on Atlanta. Again, we're filling in our second running back here in what is this, the 5th round? I've got a ton of targets in Brown and Jones. I've got a ton of targets in Waller. Davis should get me a good amount of targets at running back. Ezekiel Elliott is Ezekiel Elliott. I tend in full PPR on DraftKings best balls. I tend to only draft 2 running backs in the first 10 rounds. I don't want that many running backs in the first 10 rounds. I'm probably going to go after a lot more pass catchers and probably try to get a stack at some point with some of these guys. Lamar Jackson going right there at 56. Another easily stackable. That's one of my top stacks. Like, you can see Andrew's still on the board. You can reach around on Lamar if you want. in the 5th round, if you can get him at the late, early 5 or late 4, and then go with Andrews here, and then a couple of rounds later, go with Marquise Brown, and then even a couple of rounds later, if you believe that Bateman's going to be around the 10th round, Bateman, if you believe he will be their number 1 wide receiver targeted this year, gives you a ton of equity in that very efficient sex. There's just not a lot of volume in the passing game, but there's a lot of touchdown equity. Any rookie QBs I like? Yes, all of them. I don't think they're being overdrafted, should I say. I think they're all very talented. I think they're great for fantasy. And you're not having to pay a lot of draft costs to get them as a QB2, let's say. You have so many jet stacks. Interesting. Just saw Odell Beckham Jr. go. He's another one. That Browns team is another easily stackable team. Hooper's going super late. Beckham and Landry going here around round 6 and 7. And Baker is like a 13th, 14th round pick. On top of, if you go over to like DK Sportsbook and you see that like the over under for Baker's touchdowns is like 29.5. 30 touchdowns from a quarterback in round 14 is pretty darn good. I was going to take Ayuk if he was just available. Gaskin's falling too far, but I'm not going to take him. Galladay, I already have a tight end. Claypool's solid, if unspectacular. Here's the top wide receivers left on my board. I'm going to take Tyler Boyd and all of his targets. I really like that Cincinnati offense. He's not the spectacular one, right? Everybody wants to go off the big shiny objects. Chase is great. Like I love him, but I think he's going a little bit too high right now. But like the amount of targets and the steady amount of points that Tyler Boyd gets at this part in the draft on an offense that I think is going to throw the ball an absolute metric ton. Do we have any clarity on Deshaun? He may be a steal QB if he's cleared. Yeah, look, if Deshaun Watson is cleared to play and he plays for Houston, or if they deal him, right? Then yes, he'll be a steal. But is there any way that he plays this season? Like honestly, is there any way he sees the field this year? I don't know that they're going to let him play. I think he catches a suspension from the league. Like, why don't you just chill out for a year? Here's the best quarterbacks that are on the board right now. Hurts, Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Rodgers has been way too cheap so far. Just entirely too cheap. DJ Chark. Do. Last year, Rodgers was also cheap. Yeah, he went in the 10th round last year. We spoke on the last stream about how I don't believe that his touchdown rate from last year is going to be sustainable from one year to the next. I stand by that. I don't think he's going to throw 9% of his attempts, assuming that he plays all the games, all 17 games. I do not. LaVisca jumps a little bit there. I do not think, in my heart of hearts, that he is going to do that again. Go with Courtland Sutton here. Could have gone with Jarvis Landry, but I kind of feel like he may be available to me later if I want to go that route. Based on where I have him on my list is here. Where he is on ADP is here on DraftKings ADP, and we're at pick 79 right now. Kind of feel like even though I have him that high, I may be able to get him a little bit later. I might not. As a guy that took Rodgers a lot last year, I feel like I got bailed out for sure. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is just good. So like, even if he threw for like his career average of 6.2 or 6.3 touchdowns, it's still like 38 touchdowns in the 10th round. It's a lot. They finally got desktop best ball going. They've always had desktop best ball. It's been on the app. It's been on the, it's been on both. And I mean no disrespect to the fine folks over at Draftkings. I just don't think that their user experience is great in terms of best ball. You can't really upload your picks yet. I can't show you my team very easily. Like, this looks nice. The lobby looks pretty, but it's less functional to me. What'd I do, UNC? I think they can improve it, but I don't know if they're going to spend a lot of green screens clipping through. Oh, I see. I didn't know if that was this. No, it's a green screen. I'll fix it. Boom. I don't think it would take a lot to fix it. Am I in on blue and yellow redacted? He gets hurt a lot. Wow, Matt Ryan went early. Matt Ryan, I have him at 126. Curtis Samuel went early. Aaron Rodgers, somebody just reached for him. Brandon Cooks, solid pick there. I like that one. If I could only draft best ball on one website, which one is it? I mean, that depends on your preference and what you're going for, right? It's like my preferences are different than what yours might be. Husker, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Jalen Hurts. I believe that I'm higher on the field than Jalen Hurts is. Like, some people are looking for smaller fields and less regs, so like you'd go to drafters for that. Some people are looking for really big prize pools and a better user experience, so for that I go to Underdog. Similar prize pools, a little bit less of a user experience, Draftkings, but like much softer drafts. Pollard, wow. No, it was Herbert. As you can see, I'm higher on Pollard. I thought I was on pick history. Two picks until we go. See, like, I don't want to just say that like Draftkings is less of user experience. It's like, it's still solid, right? It's Draftkings. It's great. There's blue and yellow redacted, by the way. Things I would want to improve about the Draftkings product in terms of their GUI and their user experience for you guys who are into those sorts of things. One, I want to see on these teams how many players they have. I want to make it easier to see my roster and other people's rosters. Dallas Goedert, solid. I'm going to lock in a pick here. Because, yeah, I could wait a little bit and gamble that he'll still be available at my next pick. But instead of gambling, I'm going to lock in my Titans stack here with Tannehill. And I've got my Titans double stack, which is my first stack. I've got my entire starting lineup right now as drafted. Tannehill, Elliott, Davis, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Tyler Boyd, Darren Waller, Courtland Sutton. Clearly not going to be going for a stack with Courtland Sutton. Waller, you can get his quarterback in like the 18th round. So like you're not going to have to reach on him. Here's the quarterbacks that are left. Not going to be able to get a stack there because he goes before here. Rams, not much stackability left here unless I go with a second tight end, as Higbee's still available here. T-Law, Baker Mayfield, Tua, another very easily stackable quarterback. Here's where Fitz is, 152. Like I said, very easy to stack him, very easy to stack Cousins. And you can get a double stack by going Jefferson in the second, Thielen in the third, and then you can wait forever until like the 11th or 12th round. Big steal there with Gallup, I believe. This is a great pick here. Mr. Randall, I must like his team because I've commented 2 times now about how I like his turns. Pittman. A lot of people think he's ready for a breakout. It's going to depend on quarterback play, obviously. But he is a good player. Be nice to get some in-season status. Yeah, we'll look over him. We always do. That's about where Michael Carter goes. Mecole Hardman, big upside. You know, 9th round. I still want wide receivers here. I think that Fuller's going to be my guy. I don't think I'm going to take a shot on Cole Beasley. Fuller's always my guy. Is this community draft? No, this is just a tournament draft. Got him. Like I said, through the first 10 rounds, I'm very heavy pass catcher on DK. I like it when chat likes the jokes. See, now we're getting into that running back, that 0 running back, late round running back grouping. And like I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that are on my list. Thoughts on Jimmy G and best ball? It's rough. Leonard Fournette going at 103. Irv Smith Jr. at 104. Logan Thomas has been mostly an auto click for me. Where did Henderson go in this draft? Good question. Probably in the 4th or 5th rounds. Akers went 42. Rip to that guy. Henderson at 59, which is on par with kind of where he's been going in fast drafts the last 24 hours, right? AJ Dillon, he's on that list of late round guys. The guys that I target as late round running backs for, again, this is for my RB 3, 4, 5s, right? I want guys that already have a role on the team. I want those 40% guys, right? I'm not looking for, well, if the guy that's in front of him gets injured, then my guy can see the field. That's obviously going to be cooked in, right? When you draft a secondary running back, there goes Higbee. But I don't want that to be their only path. So like, to me, that's somebody like Alex Madison. I don't think that Alex Madison has a job. He has a job. He's the backup running back. But like, he's not going to get 40% of the running back snaps or touches. Cook just eats up all of that. So he's a pure handcuff, and I don't handcuff in best ball. But like, UNC just kind of named a few of them. AJ Dillon, gonna be on the field, probably gonna be, we've seen that Green Bay uses those two guys. Last year it was Williams. Williams is now gone, so AJ Dillon gonna slide into that 40% role. Pollard should slide into like a 30% role with the massive upside. First of all, with the floor of being in the passing game and the massive upside of him possibly, taking over that lead role. But I'm not going to draft him in this draft because I have Elliott, and I'm not going to draft I don't draft handcuffs. So like, that's my advice for drafting those later round guys. There's also, you can go a galaxy brain way on it, if you choose. Here's the best wide receivers available. I think we can wait on those. Best tight ends available, and wait on these. I think this is like, usually I don't pick more than 2, but I'm going to go with a running back here. Connor, fine. Hines, I like Hines. Moss, I don't like running backs on that team. Latavius, I think I can wait to get him. Quarterbacks, I think we can wait. I think I just got to go Hines. I think when Nyheim Hines is on the field, he's going to be somebody who gets targeted a lot. I don't know that they want to use Mac in the pass game at all. Nyheim Hines does not have a path to being the every down guy. He doesn't. He just doesn't. But on DraftKings, with as many snaps as he's going to play, even with Taylor being the bell cow guy. Right? He is still going to get you 4+ targets a game this year, in my opinion. Normally, if I did not have Ezekiel Elliott, I would have snap called on Pollard right there. The Tampa Bay running situation, I think, is a 3-headed monster, and I'm scared of it. The handcuff of your stud running back always fails. It's the rule of best ball draft. Great value, but you can't take them. Right. Transactional drafts, season-long drafts, your friends and family leagues, sure. Frustrating some games, but fun. See, and this is the beauty of best ball. I don't have to pick his games. If Ezekiel Elliott and Mike Davis aren't starting for me, Hines Ward gives me a floor of points. No path to being a league winner, but he gives me a solid floor of points. Think James White. He's always going to get me around 10 points. If my guys are on bye week, did I say Hines Ward? No, Nyheim Hines. I have a path that I want to go with this team. Hines Ward probably could still play. Yeah. I did say Hines. I mean, his name is Hines. It's right there. Chat. I might have said Hines Ward. I've been known to do that from time to time. AJ Dillon, I was going to grab him here. Kirk Cousins. I'm going to go with my boy right here. Alvin Kamara is just not ever going to be the guy that gets 30 touches a game on a week in, week out basis. You know, that's not who he is. And if Alvin Kamara gets injured for a week or two, we know what happens. And Latavius Murray is used in the same way. Here against Denver, 19 carries. So you have a good floor with possible upside. He is used in the passing game, even in games where he's there. This is another late round running back pick. And I know that somebody is going to say, but I don't like that guy. It's the 10th round. Who do you like better on this list of running backs that's going to honestly have a massive amount of workload? They're all guys who have some work, but not a ton of work. They're all floor guys, but not massive upside guys. And I prefer Latavius Murray to another one of my guys on that list, Gus Edwards, because Gus Edwards just not going to get any usage in the passing game. So like there's no pass game floor. Even though Gus has solid touchdown upside, I don't want him as my 3 or 4. If that makes sense. I want guys that have the possibility of being on the field already to get me that floor of points in case my top 2 guys. There'll be weeks that Murray outscores Davis without any injury. Maybe. Pace, thank you for the 22 months. I need to see if my videos about the Zed horses, since you mentioned, only hit the buy button. I have to see if my if the impressions on my horse videos have gone up today, because Wall Street Journal came out with a Zed Run article today. CNBC did a whole piece on like a very produced piece, not like a live thing, but like it was a 3-minute produced piece, kind of like the Yahoo TikTok that came out, like creating maybe some FOMO with people. It's like the first place that you see it is the impressions on YouTube and Google Trends for anything. You'd rather have Singletary, but you need more because it's later. You can't draft the Bills running back. Yeah, they just don't utilize, or sorry, they did not utilize their running backs last year. There goes Trey Lance. You can say the same about Taysom. We don't know who's going to be the quarterback there. I would not be surprised if both of those quarterbacks start games. I kind of feel like Taysom's the guy right now. There goes Fitz around the 140 mark. I'm going to take Gus here and kind of fill out my running backs. I now have 5 running backs, 1 quarterback, 5 wide receivers, 1 tight end. With what I think is a very solid double stack. Let's go best available by position, right? We have, and you can still see who's being drafted up here. Justin Fields, Baker Mayfield, Tua, Wentz, Wilson, Jones. It starts to get thin around here. Every quarterback has warts in this range, but like, you know, the Browns run the ball a lot. Well, Justin Fields may not start week 1 and he's a rookie. Tua didn't look great last year. We've gone over why. Wentz, maybe he's dust. Zach Wilson, it's the Jets and he's a rookie and he played at BYU. Like, there's a lot of things going on here. Daniel Jones is interesting at this price range, actually, to me. Kenyon Drake just went at pick 143. Somebody in chat, and I don't know who it was, said, you know what? I don't like Josh Jacobs at his price point, so I should probably be drafting more Kenyon Drake later. It's a good way to think about it. Gabe Davis, will he be the wide receiver 2 there? Are they going to go with Manny Sanders? Best running backs available. Singletary, Williams might have a role there in Detroit as they want to bite kneecaps a lot. Madison, James White always has his role, but there's no upside to his role. Rashard Penny, if you think that he's going to get 35% and the possibility of breakdown for Carson. Rashad Bateman just went there. I talked about him earlier at 145, really late for a guy who could be the number 1 running back. These are all just lottery tickets down here. All these running backs are lottery tickets, and that's why I chose to go the route that I went with my pick. There goes the Gazelle. Top wide receivers available. Perriman, Mims, who's perpetually doghoused. I have to slide him down. He should not be there. Shepard, Crowder, Paris Campbell, Terrace Marshall, rookies, Brown, yada, yada, yada. Like, it starts to get a little sketchy in here. Best tight ends available. Jonnu Smith should probably be going higher than those spots right there. Gronkowski, you still have touchdown upside. I think Jared Cook is being massively underdrafted right now. Moving into the Chargers spot here. Hooper, if you wanted to stack him as a secondary stack. Gerald Everett, this is about the range that he goes. And I like him a lot. Carson Wentz just went. You know, I kind of have to take Everett here. I'm going to take Everett as my second tight end in this spot. Tight ends in Seattle, you know that Wilson, I don't care how many times they say that they're gonna run the ball more, but like Gerald Everett is a solid tight end, and now moving to the tight end 1 spot on an offense that focuses on throwing the ball to the tight end once they get around the goal line. Jonnu Smith also extremely solid, and I do tend to draft 3 tight ends when it comes to these leagues on Draftkings because you have 20 rounds, so it's viable to go 3 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends. It's not out of the realm of possibility. There goes Jonnu. There goes Baker at 156. Ferkser. I'm worried about Ferkser in the sense that right now he's the only guy. So you're like, well, you know, he's the only guy. He's going to get a bunch of targets. But like, there's rumors circulating right now. That's early on Hooper. Interesting. There's rumors circulating right now that early on Ben too, that they are going to pick up Delaney or just re-sign him like soon. And if that happens, that drastically affects Ferkser's snaps, his routes per dropback, everything. MVS going at 160. Three picks until we go. Latest Spy, thank you for the 11 months. Only 1 away from getting that year-long badge in the chat. Blake Jarwin. Love Blake Jarwin. Massive value on Blake Jarwin. Easy late round stack. You can see where he went. Daniel Jones just went there. Give me Tua at 164. Thank you. I have my secondary stack now with Will Fuller and Tua. And I know that some people are going to say they hate Tua. But here's my short Tua rant. Yes, season-long props are an inefficient market, but they're a gauge. And when you have DraftKings Sportsbook putting the over-under on Tua at 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns, and you realize where I'm picking him in like the 160th pick, 162 or whatever, it's somewhat free. They spent a lot of offseason capital on upgrading the passing game there. Last year, when he took over the job, I've gone over this so many times, right? That like he was a rookie quarterback with no offseason because of COVID, who was also recovering from hip surgery, so he had no time to get in. Now, this year, he's got the full offseason as being the number one guy. They went out and they got Fuller. They drafted a speedster as well to go with Parker, and Preston Williams returning. They still have Gesicki at tight end. He's got a massive amount of very talented and athletic guys to throw to. And I just don't think that he's going to look the same way he looked last year. And as always, I could be way wrong. But I'm always willing to gamble on talent, and I'm willing to gamble on talent that is surrounded by talent and defense changing talent. Will Fuller makes quarterbacks better. Will Fuller very much makes quarterbacks better. I think the Bears are going to throw the ball less this year. I do. I'm on record saying that I don't think that they throw the ball as much as they did last year, but I think they throw to a certain amount of guys, and Cole Kmet is going to be one of those guys. Again, I'm drafting him as my number 3 tight end, so I'm not needing or expecting a ton out of him in this draft. Fuller's on the Dolphins now? Jeez, I need to read some stuff. Yep. They got 2 massive field stretchers. Fuller makes quarterbacks better. If you don't believe me, go look at Deshaun Watson and his splits in games where Will Fuller played versus games where Will Fuller did not play. He makes quarterbacks like 4 points better. No different from Djax, no different from Randy Moss, no different from any talented field stretching quarterback. And there goes Derek Carr at pick 178. Like I said, you can get those quarterbacks pretty cheap. Fuller is quite good. Yes, when he is on the field, he is quite good, and he improves the quarterbacks around him. Pardon me. Philip Lindsay on Houston. Houston's, they have nobody. They just have nobody. I kind of wonder if, as nobody as they have, and as bad as that team's going to be, and as much as they're going to play from behind, does like Brandon Cooks get like 160 targets because they just have nowhere else to go with the ball? Like, does he just get 10 targets a week, every week? I'm not predicting that's going to happen. I do think he's too cheap. D-Shep, thank you for the 11 months. Another 11. The subs go all the way to 11 today. We've had multiple 11-month subs today. At least 2, maybe 4. So now that we get to this part of the draft, now we're drafting a lot of lottery tickets at every position. Our positional breakdown right now: 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. I'm done at tight end. Denzel Mims, Terrace Marshall, big wide receiver out of LSU. Keto 06, 11 months, a run on 11-month resubs right now in the chat. Take the rookie Brown for the football team. ATC breaking the streak, getting his 12-month, his 1-year badge in the chat. You guys are absurd. Thank you for all the support with the subs. If you're watching on YouTube and you appreciate the video, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. You can become a channel member, which will give you access in our Discord. Link is down below. If you wanted to click show more on the description. And if you're a channel member, you can link your Discord account to YouTube, or if you're a Twitch sub, you can do the same. And you get access to all of the sub-only channels in our partnered Discord channel. Always people to talk about basically every sport and a bunch of non-sport topics as well. 5,000 members strong. Great community. Shout out to our Discord. The wonderful time of year, fantasy football prep, and the NHL expansion draft. I like that Seattle Kraken team. It's a good name. Josh Reynolds for my stack. No, I'm good. I don't need all of that exposure. Although, if one of those guys gets injured, Josh Reynolds does move into a spot. But like, I think that there's other guys who might have more upside, who also allow me more varied exposure than being all in on one team. At least he's on the field. I think he's on the field way less than he was before. Loki was legit. Loki was awesome. I've liked every one of those Marvel shows that has come out on Disney Plus, but Loki was the best one. And in my opinion, it was not particularly close between the three of them that have come out so far. I would have Wanda second. I was just going to take Deshaun. I'm going to go with DeMarcus. Can't think of a bad Marvel. Yeah, none of them have been bad, but I liked Falcon Winter Soldier less than I liked Wanda. I thought Wanda was very cool and interesting. And like, again, you're comparing it to like Falcon and Winter Soldier was a good show. It wasn't an average show. It wasn't meh. It was good. Captain Marvel wasn't amazing. Captain Marvel wasn't a Disney Plus episodic show. I'm saying the 3 shows that have been on Disney Plus have all been fine. Yes, of the 20-something, 25 MCU movies, there are certainly some that aren't up to snuff with some of the other amazing ones. You know, Thor Dark World comes to mind. I feel like I'm relying a little bit too much in this draft. Like if I take a look back on this draft, I'm going over it in my mind without looking at my roster, honestly. I'm relying a little bit too much on my top 3 wide receivers. I wish I had a little bit more depth at those wide receiver spots. But I spent some of that depth on a super stud tight end in the 2nd round. Where if I had gone after Logan Thomas in the 9th round, I might have had a better, you know, I'd had 140 targets in the 2nd and 100 targets plus maybe 120 targets in the, you know, 110, 120 targets in the 9th. Targets are going to add up on these teams. Oh, you're replying to D-Shep. Sorry. Hard for me to keep track of all the replies and everything in the chat. I think Twitch now has a reply button. A lot like Discord, but it's only one. Like, you can only reply to one. You can't have like a whole thread. Browns-Jones stack's going to be nasty. It's my first one. It's the first time that I've gotten the Tannehill, Brown, Jones. I think that that's one of my top stacks when I do my top stacks video either Friday or next week. That's going to be in there. And again, these aren't stacks. It's like, well, this is, you know, the Cowboys is the best stack. Yeah, but you can't get a Cowboy stack. You could get it, unless you reach by a full round early in drafts, you're not getting the 2 top guys in a Cowboys stack. Tannehill, who should, in my opinion, be somebody who gets us 20 points a week. My second quarterback, I have big hopes for Tua, who I think can be a guy who will get me 20-point weeks here and there when he is efficient and connects with those deep targets, on top of everything else that we have. I think this is a very, very solid roster, and this is what we're going to go with. Thank you for joining today. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you later.
He's a legend.